after her last text. She sends one of those emojis that I think is supposed to be a hug, the one surrounded by hearts. I do not know what it means. I'm not young enough or hip enough to know how to interpret emojis beyond knowing that I should never, under any circumstances, send anyone an eggplant or peach.
Eggplant? Peach. What is this, a farmer's market texting guide? You need to get out more. Or maybe less. I'm confused.
Welcome back to Heartbook Radio. I'm Professor Theodore Bookman, and this thing beside me is
Just Razor. And you're Professor Snoozman, as my listeners affectionately call you. Today, we're diving headfirst into the literary equivalent of a warm bath, Absolutely Not in Love, by Jenny Proctor, a closed-door hockey romance, which, let's be honest, sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry on a hockey rink.
Your Philistinism is showing. This book is a nuanced exploration of...
Nuanced? The main character is a hockey player who's secretly a classical music-loving bookworm. He's basically a Disney prince who traded his glass slipper for goalie pads. And the heroine? She hot as hockey. It's like a romance novel written by an algorithm that hates sports and loves libraries.
The author, Jenny Proctor, is clearly making a statement about...
About what? The dangers of unchecked plumbing. Because that's how they get stuck together, you know? A burst pipe. The most unromantic meet. Cute since your last date.
Let's move on.
All right, let's talk Felix Jamison, the hockey hunk with a heart of, probably organic, fair trade dark chocolate. This guy's so sensitive. He probably apologizes to the puck before he blocks it.
He suffers from social anxiety. It's a serious condition. He finds solace in his library, which I might add is named Ivy. A touch of class, wouldn't you say?
Sounds like a retirement home for dusty encyclopedias. My neighbor Big Tony has a bigger collection of, never mind. But seriously, Felix is so good guy. He makes Ned Flanders look like a biker gang leader. If he were a celebrity, he would the one caught. I don't know. Knitting sweaters for orphan kittens.
And Gracie Mitchell, the hockey phobic cellist.
Oh, Gracie. She's got baggage. A brother who stole her spotlight, an ex who was probably a puck bunny. She's basically a walking, talking country song waiting to happen. If she were a celebrity, she would be the one who gets canceled for tweeting that she prefers the sound of a dial-up modem to a slap shot.
Her aversion to hockey stems from a deep seated...
Because her brother was good at it? Please. My ex was good at parallel parking. Doesn't mean I have a phobia of... okay. Maybe I do. But that's beside the point. She holds a grudge like Big Tony holds a... never mind.
I believe the author intended for us to sympathize with Gracie's...
her irrational have a sport that brings joy to millions. No, I think the author intended for us to question Gracie's sanity. And maybe Felix's for falling for her.
Let's delve into the literary merits.
That's what one reviewer called it. Sizzle in a closed-door romance. That's like saying a vegan steak is juicy. It's a contradiction in terms.
There's a difference between explicit content and emotional intensity. The kissing scenes, apparently, are quite evocative.
Evocative of what? Chapped lips. I read one review that said, the kissing scenes had that great balance of steam without the spice. Steam. From what? Felix's anxiety sweat?
Another reviewer, clearly a person of discerning taste, wrote 5 stars because I'm absolutely in love with Gracie and Felix.
Oh, that's just Jenny Proctor's mom. I found a 1-star review, though. Get this. This book was unrealistic. The insurance claim would have taken way longer to process. Now, that's a reader who understands real-world problems.
And then there's this gem. If you spend years and $10,000 on therapy, I would expect slightly better results than what we see in this story.
See, even the therapists are calling baloney on this book. If Felix were a sandwich, he would be a plain white bread with a single slice of unseasoned tofu. Nutritious, maybe, but utterly bland.
I find myself agreeing with you, which is a terrifying prospect.
Don't worry. It happens to the best of us. Eventually, even you will succumb to the dark side of, well, whatever this is.
Okay, time for our patented, highly unscientific rating system. On a scale of 1 to 10 deflated hockey pucks, where does? Absolutely not. In Love Land.
I'm going to give it a 3. 3 deflated pucks. It's readable. But ultimately forgettable, like a lukewarm cup of chamomile tea.
Chamomile tea. Oh, you're being generous. I give it a solid 7 out of 13. Divorces, because that's how many couples will break up after one partner forces the other to read this book.
Join us next week, when we'll be discussing the existential dread of a left sock, a postmodern deconstruction of laundry.
Sounds thrilling. Almost as thrilling as watching a Zamboni resurface the ice. Don't forget to subscribe to Heartbook Radio. Or Big Tony will. Well, you know.